also really like books about female rage and violence. It's kind of cathartic. I don't know if I should be confessing this. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So tomorrow I'm going to be heading off on holiday, except it's not really holiday. I'm basically going to be working for 2 weeks straight, but it's 2 weeks away from home, so I'm still going to count it. Basically, I am heading up to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with my university's barbershop choir, which I was with for 3 years when I was at uni, and they very kindly invited me back to sing with them as an alumna. And basically we're going to be spending a week in Durham rehearsing and then travelling up to spend a week in Edinburgh. We have 6 performances. The show's called Cutting Edge. It's a barbershop pun. I did the poster art for it. I think it slaps. But because this is kind of somewhat a holiday, I am going to be needing some reading material for it. And what I've decided is that I am just going to be reading ebooks, because last time I went up to Durham, I took what I was reading at that time, which was my hardback copy of Babel, and it was so heavy. It was an absolute mistake bringing that to Durham of all places, where it is nothing but hills. So I'm going to be bringing my Kindle with me. It's a lot lighter than any book, especially my hardback copy of Babel. It's an old Kindle Paperwhite. I've had it since like 2015, 2016. It's pretty slow, but I still love it, and I've decorated it with folklore themed stickers in celebration of August. And I've looked through all of the ebooks that I have, and I've put together a kind of reading list, and I don't think I'm going to get through all of them because, as I said, I'm basically going to be working for 2 weeks straight, and it's very long days. I went to the Fringe last year, and pretty much any time we weren't performing, we were either flying on the Royal Mile or like seeing other shows.
It's a full-time job, and it's extremely time-consuming.
So I don't know how much time I'm going to get for reading, but hopefully I'll get through a few. So the first book I'm going to bring with me is a book that I am currently reading, and that is Pod by Layleen Poole. Aya has always felt like an outsider. She suffers from a type of deafness that means she cannot master the spinning rituals that unite her pod of spinner dolphins. When tragedy strikes her family and Aya feels she is partly to blame, she decides to make the ultimate sacrifice and leave. As Aya ventures into the vast, she discovers dangers everywhere, from lurking predators to strange objects floating in the water. But just as she is coming to terms with her solitude, a chance encounter with a group of arrogant bottlenoses will irrevocably alter the course of her life. In her terrifying, propulsive novel, Layleen Poole explores the true meaning of family, belonging, sacrifice, the harmony and tragedy of the pod, within an ocean that is no longer the sanctuary it once was, and which reflects a world all too recognisable to our own. I've read one novel by Layleen Poole before, The Bees, and I loved it. It has really stuck with me. I don't know if I'm enjoying Pod as much as I enjoyed The Bees, but it's still kind of early days yet. I'm about just over halfway through, and I will probably finish it on the train, to be honest. I'll finish it before I even get to Durham. Next we have Joan by Katherine J. Chen. Girl, warrior, heretic. Saint? France is mired in a losing war against England. Its people are starving. Its king is in hiding. Yet out of the chaos, an unlikely heroine emerges. Reckless, steel-willed, and brilliant, Joan has survived a childhood steeped in both joy and violence to claim an extraordinary and fragile position at the head of the French army. The battlefield and the royal court are full of dangers, and Joan finds herself under suspicion from all sides, as well as under threat from her own ambition. With unforgettably vivid characters and propulsive storytelling, Joan is a thrilling epic, a triumph of historical fiction, and a feminist celebration of one remarkable and remarkably real woman who left an indelible mark on history. Joan of Arc is a historical figure which really fascinates me, just because she's achieved this kind of mythical, legendary status where it's pretty difficult to distinguish what is legend, what has been blown out of proportion, and what is actually the real Joan of Arc. So I am really interested to see where Katherine J. Chen draws the line between reality and fiction. It does say it's a historical fiction novel, so it might be a little bit fantastical, but I am very excited to read it. Next we have A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. Dorothy Daniels has always had a voracious and adventurous appetite. From her idyllic farm-to-table childhood, homegrown tomatoes, thick slices of freshly baked bread, to the heights of her career as a food critic, white truffles washed down with Barolo straight from the bottle, Dorothy has never been shy about indulging her exquisite tastes, even when it led to her plunging an ice pick into her lover's neck. There is something inside Dorothy that makes her different from everybody else, something she's finally ready to confess. But beware, Her story just might make you wonder how your lover would taste sautéed with shallots and mushrooms and deglazed with a little red wine. I really like weird books with kind of wacky, morally grey, or even like morally terrible protagonists. And I also really like books about female rage and violence. It's kind of cathartic. I don't know if I should be confessing this, but you know. Again, I'm very excited to read this one. Next we have 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. When Eva Mercy, a single mother and best-selling erotica writer, and the enigmatic, award-winning novelist Shane Hall meet at a literary event in New York, sparks fly. But what no one knows is that 15 years earlier, teenage Eva and Shane spent 1 week together, madly in love. While they may pretend to be strangers, they can't deny their chemistry. Over the next 7 days, amidst a steamy Brooklyn summer, Eva and Shane reconnect. But Eva is wary of the man who broke her heart and wants Shane out of the city so her life can return to normal. Before he disappears, though, she needs a few questions answered. With its keen observations of creative life in America today, as well as the joys and complications of being a mother and daughter, 7 Days in June is a hilarious, romantic, and sexy as hell story of 2 writers discovering their second chance at love. I have heard such good things about this book, so I'm a little bit scared to read it because my expectations are pretty high, but I do think I'm gonna really enjoy it. I love books about like books and authors. There's something like kind of meta about them, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Next up we have Never Ever Getting Back Together by Sophie Gonzalez. 18-year-old Maya dumped her cheating ex-boyfriend Geordie 2 years ago. So when she receives a call to participate in Second Chance Romance, a reality show in which the now famous Geordie redates his ex-girlfriends, she isn't interested, until she realises she can use this opportunity to exact her revenge. If she can make it to the final spot on the show, she can reject Geordie in front of the nation and publicly break his heart. Maya's fellow contestants include Sky, the beautiful, charismatic girl Geordie cheated on Maya with. Sky charms the socks off everyone she meets, except for Maya, who knows that underneath all the sparkle, she's the girl who dated her boyfriend while he was still her boyfriend. The reality show is a challenging environment. Amidst backstabbing, bickering, and having to see Geordie again, Maya finds herself becoming friends with Sky. Together, they come up with a plan for the ultimate revenge on Geordie. But as she spends more time with Geordie and Sky, Maya is torn. Is Geordie a good guy who made a mistake? Is there more than friendship between her and Sky? As the season finale approaches, can Maya execute her plan or will she go off script? I think that I am going to really enjoy this book. It's got a premise that is kind of similar to The Charm Offensive, which I also enjoyed. The only thing that I'm thinking about, though, is the fact that if Maya was 18 years old 2 years ago, then Geordie must have been around that age. So he's probably like 20, 21, and yet he has so many ex-girlfriends already that he's got enough to do a reality show featuring them. How can one have that many ex-girlfriends at 20? Like, that is a serious red flag right there. But anyway, I'm sure that that will all be explained, hopefully. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. Finally, we have The Storied Life of AJ Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. AJ Fikry, the grumpy owner of Island Books, is going through a hard time. His bookshop is failing, he has lost his beloved wife, and his prized possession, a rare first edition book, has been stolen. Over time, he has given up on people, and even the books in his store, instead of offering solace, are yet another reminder of a world that is changing too rapidly. But one day, AJ finds 2-year-old Maya sitting on the bookshop floor with a note attached to her asking the owner to look after her. His life, and Maya's, is changed forever. Gabrielle Zevin's enchanting novel is a love letter to the world of books, an irresistible affirmation of why we read and why we love. One of my favourite subgenres of books is one that I like to call old man rehabilitation, in which a grumpy old man who has undergone some kind of tragedy in his life and is kind of a recluse has to step back out into the world and like reintegrate himself, and it's just generally a wholesome subgenre. So books like The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared, although that's not really a wholesome book, I'd say, but also All the Lonely People by Mike Gale is a very wholesome book. And another book that is in this subgenre and is on my TBR is A Man Called Uva, and I've heard really good things about that. So yeah, it's a very niche kind of subgenre, but it makes me think that I'm going to enjoy this book, so I have high hopes. So yeah, those are the 6 books that I'm going to be bringing with me to Edinburgh on my Kindle. And as I said, I'm probably not going to get around to reading all of them, but I'm going to give it a good go. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks of reading / working. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like. I would really appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram or TikTok or the Storygraph, all Outwith with Jones, for more bookish content. I'll be posting my reviews of these books on Storygraph as soon as I have read them, so if you follow me on there, you'll be the first to know my thoughts. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!